I'm just like held up in I'm stuck in Seattle right now. I got COVID and I can't get home now, so I've just been in this hotel room for like 5-6 days,
Oh,
just pacing around.
oh, I can only imagine like the cabin fever that's going on right now with having to deal with that.
Holy, it's crazy.
Oh, oh, that's such unfortunate, and be able to have that at the end of the year too. I mean, I know you guys were just finishing up touring and everything. I'm so sorry to
Hmm.
hear that.
It's crazy.
Well, at least there is some positive that is coming out with a brand new album with Heavy Steps coming out next month through Nuclear Blast, and I've just gotten the chance to be able to check out this album last night. I've been able to give it a couple spins, and it's easily becoming my favorite album from you guys. I mean, it feels like you guys are always able to bring this progression to the band. I mean, whether you're trying to be more catchy or whether you're trying to show off more heavy riffs, I mean, whatever the combination is, it always feels like it's getting stronger and stronger. And with Heavy Steps, it just feels like the formula just got perfect on this album.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that it connected with you so quickly. Like after you said only 2 listens or something like that. That's wild. Usually it takes a little while longer, right? But if it's an immediate connection, then I think that, maybe we did something right.
Oh, it totally feels like it too, and it's definitely one of those albums that it really feels like listening to it from start to finish is just the way to go with it too. I mean, with just the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys that's going along with it, with the tempo
Yeah,
changes and the guess.
I think the final song kind of also gives that kind of like a little bit of like the heartstrings, like somber, like finale kind of feeling to it. It's a it was. I think that was that song's called "Menacing Weight." When that comes when it comes to that, I feel like it kind of feels like the album's wrapping up, which may kind of help the thing as a whole. You know what I mean? Feel like one solid unit.
Oh, absolutely, and I was about to bring that up too, especially when it comes to Menacing Weight. I mean, it really does feel like everything comes back together with that song, and it's such a perfect closer.
Awesome, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem. So, with that in mind, I mean, what was it like to start writing? What was the writing process like for this album?
Well, when we found out about the pandemic shit starting, we pretty much we were planning on writing a record, but we had a bunch of shows, so the record probably would have taken even longer if we would have kept on playing shows and all that. But yeah, it kind of just gave us a way to be in a band while still not really doing the band. We're all in our separate cities, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Toronto, and so we would just send demos back and forth to each other. We had Logic and GarageBand and shit like that, and yeah, we just kind of send demos back. I would scream in my bedroom, and we kind of used Winnipeg as a home base to jam, and we probably did 2 or 3 sessions of rehearsing and writing that would last, 10 days each or something like that. And then we recorded for a couple of months in Winnipeg. So yeah, we would all just kind of use Winnipeg as a home base, and probably got about 3 trips out of it during the full kind of pandemic lockdown times.
Oh yeah, and that totally makes sense. And that is such a great thing about technology is, I mean, especially when it comes to something like the pandemic that we're still currently going through. The fact that you're able to transfer files like that and you're able to work together the way that you have, and it's just like if I didn't know any better, I mean, it really does sound like you guys just got together in the same room and were jamming these songs out. I
Well,
mean,
no, but yeah, but we did though. So you'd have a kind of skeleton for a song, but then when you're actually able to be physically together, you can kind of mutate the song into something different, and things can kind of transitions can flow better. It's not it's actually Lauren's playing real drums, and we're not programming drums, shit like that. And then we're just kind of finessing until it becomes, what you're hearing. So.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it absolutely sounds like everything's real on the album and stuff like that. But I just meant being in these situations, the fact that you're not just having to wait until you're finally able to all get together. The fact that you can send riffs and
Exactly.
ideas to each other.
No, yeah, no, for sure. No, I'm with you.
Oh, that's just so cool. And again, just seeing how far you guys have come over all this time, and just seeing the songwriting process that goes into it, and just it, especially when it comes to Heavy Steps, it really feels like everything is just so refined and perfect on this album. Like I mentioned before, it feels like every note, every lyric that's on here just has that definitive purpose.
Yeah, it's I think lyrically, yeah, you can hear it's quite a desperate record. So there's a lot of meaning behind, like there's a person behind the lyrics. There's some genuine feelings behind those lyrics, I think.
Yeah, I definitely started feeling that, especially the second time around. The more that I started to hear the lyrics and really started to grasp more with it. So, I mean, I can definitely hear some emotion behind that, and it's great to see that you're able to deliver that on this album as well too.
Yeah, just trying to focus on getting really cool peaks and valleys, and like the vocal production stuff was really fun on this record. Doing all the just all the little working with fun plugins and pannings and stuff like that. That was a highlight, I think, for me of the record.
So, thinking about that as well too, I mean, being able to mess around with all that stuff, was there like any new tips or tricks or ideas that you got to do with that vocally that you got to mess around with on this album?
I think it's just like pushing stuff that I'd done before, maybe a little more, and just kind of in that sense, and just making sure that it's interesting. I guess I just don't want to have the vocals all the way down the middle throughout the whole thing. That's just me. Like, I like other bands that do that, but just for this record, come back in being such a like meat and potatoes kind of like style band. Just two guitars, bass, drums, vocals, backups. There's no keyboards, none of that shit, right? So to kind of be able to kind of bring some like modern production stuff in with the vocals, and it's not even crazy stuff. It's just some delays and verbs and just fun little ways to make the vocals sound a little different. That was that to me like kind of can also kind of bring that ear candy vibe to a record. When you're listening through headphones and stuff. Like a pretty straight up band, but then having different things going on without it being like keyboards or like programming or shit like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and just like you said, I mean, being able to just be like the core of the band and being able to focus on the guitars, bass, drums, and vocals. I mean, when you're able to just focus on that and you're able to play around with what you can do with that while still maintaining that real natural sound that you have. I mean, it's so cool with what you can do.
Yeah, we're always kind of like pushing it a little bit further than previous records. Like I don't think on previous records I would be allowed to have like kind of a whisper, like a type vocal, but I could hide it in little mix areas on this record. Just little fun little things.
Oh, definitely. And it's amazing, though, the work that was behind the board, too. I mean, with who you got to work with in production and the fact that you got Joe from Gojira to be able to guest on this album. I mean, you guys lately have been able to find some great guests to be able to be a part of your work, whether it's like Devin Townsend or this time with Gojira. I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's nice to get people that people wouldn't like really expect us to collaborate with. And we're lucky that Joe agreed to do it. So. Oh
yeah, and hearing your two voices together on Cross is it's so cool to hear that too. Just like with his range and your range working together, it just feels so natural.
That's sick. I'm glad that. Yeah, we got some really good takes from him, and we really wanted to sound really full. He kind of serves as a kind of an overlord, kind of menacing presence of that song. He is like when he says "into the void," he is the void. That's how we wanted it to feel, like he was the kind of the dark cloud over the song. And I think that's the ominous thing. So that's what he accomplished, I think, on it.
Oh yeah, and it totally works out, and it's so great to see the reception that's been getting for that as well too. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just like with all the stuff that we got going on in the world right now, and obviously, like in your stance right now with having to deal with COVID and isolation right now. I mean, I really feel like we need an album like Heavy Steps right now, and I'm just so happy to see that's just coming out in less than a month now, and just being able to really appreciate just some good music to be able to start off the next year.
Totally. I mean, I hope that it can have some reach. Really, shows are getting canceled and stuff, but I hope that there's a silver lining in there somewhere. So.
Yeah, I really hope so too. And thinking about that as well too. I mean, obviously with you guys being able to play some shows. I mean, what was that like to be able to? I mean, obviously I know the outcome of what's going on right now, but what was it like before all of that happened? I mean, what was it like to be able to go back and play shows?
we had a good run. You know, we had 6 months there of playing shows in Quebec and Canada, and then we went to the UK, and then we started playing a bunch in the US, and we had a good run there for a while. And it's just being able to like the first one back was crazy. It was an outdoor show. You know, it had just gotten dark. You know, a lot of people. It was really cool. Like, it was a festival in Quebec, and so that moment was like extremely cool. And then it just was kind of carried over from there. This last tour we just did was like almost all the shows were sold out, and it just really feels like the band has some sort of like momentum that it's had in the past, but it feels like really, really strong right now. So that we've just been so like over the moon to be able to reconnect. I mean, especially in the States, like I felt like really disconnected from the States for a couple of years there because we weren't able to go there here. And just to be able to reconnect with a lot of people and just, I mean, I love that. It's like wild style down in the States too. So the shows have been wild, and we kind of like that.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't able to see you guys in this round, being over here in Minnesota. But with that in mind, I mean, I've been seeing the reaction and everything online, and I've seen a couple videos of you guys being able to play live on this tour, and just seeing the crowds just going wild, and just so happy to be able to see you guys again. I mean, when something like this affects the whole world, and you never know when you're going to get back on stage or be able to see any shows again, when you are able to get back into that environment, I mean, it's one of the most cathartic feelings you can have.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. It's the one, man. It's like we missed it so much, and it is like even just like not even being able to like exert energy that same way, before like during the pandemic. I think that really missed that. So
yeah, and I'm so glad that you guys were able to do as many shows as you did on this round too. Again, unfortunately, with what's going on with you right now, and hopefully everything does continue to go in the right direction, and you're able to get out of there as soon as you possibly can. But it's just like I'm glad to see that you guys still have that mindset of being able to promote the album. Hopefully the world goes in the right direction where tours and shows are able to start happening again in 2022, because these songs need to continue to be played in that live capacity, because I love what I'm hearing on the record, but I just know that they'll sound even better live.
Yeah, there's some songs on this record that I'm like just dying to play live, like Dead on the Fence. That's not out yet, but it'll be out with the record, and a few others that I'm just really, really excited to kind of hit it on the stage with, for sure.
Oh, for sure. And another great thing I really do appreciate about this album is the album cover. I love how colorful it looks too. I mean, just like with the way that it looks, and just like all the colors and everything that's going along with it. It's just a really sweet cover.
Yeah, it's an artist that a tattoo artist that we were fans of, Luciano, and I think he killed it on this, and I love, he did it with he painted it by hand, and it's just a really unique, awesome style that I'm glad he was able to kind of capture what we were looking for. And it's always weird when you're giving an artist your opinion about like, hey, I like your stuff, but can you do this? So try to kind of give him the lyrics and the songs, and just kind of let him hopefully kind of come up with his own thing for it, based on some of the suggestions. So I'm glad it worked out.
And thinking about that as well too, I mean, the fact that it was hand painted, I mean, that's just incredible. But like going back and forth with that, I mean, was there a lot of discussion about like making it just right, or was it pretty natural?
Yeah, no, it's the email thread went like 30, 50 emails or something. So it went back and forth quite a bit. It was until we finally got there. There was some trial and error for sure. So I mean, I'm glad that he was patient with us. I don't love all of our old covers, so I just really wanted this one to pop.
And it truly does. And thinking about that as well too, like if you are able to get like the vinyl version of this as well too, and just being able to see it's in that form, I mean, that's just gonna be so cool. And I love the color that you guys are using with the vinyl too. I mean, that marble color just fits so perfect with it.
Yeah, I think that the colors are. It's fun to have a colorful record. I don't think we've really had one that is colorful, and just like the things you can do with the vinyl and the and the videos, and just kind of it helps tie it all together a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. And thinking about that from the outside too, I mean, like seeing like all the color that's being used in the videos, in the album cover, and then you think about like how meaningful and emotional the lyrics are too. I mean, it really hits you from all senses.
Hell yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. And I do appreciate that too, because all of us came out scarred from this pandemic, and we all got different thoughts and emotions for so many different reasons to like go over, whether it's more personal, whether it's worldwide, whether whatever the case is. So we always got those things going on in mind. So the fact that you're able to like pour your heart out through your emotions like this, and you can just hear it in your voice, the emotion that's really coming through it, and just hearing that authenticity behind it. So just like with all of that going on, I mean, I really appreciate that you do put that much effort into it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we kind of need it. We needed that outlet, and yeah, we've been a band for a long time. We need to come back here, put out a record. We gotta like make it really, really strong, and gotta work as hard as possible. And it's just that kind of grind until you get the right thing. Because there was definitely many moments where it wasn't right. And I mean, there's some songs where I've had one like, we've been kind of going back and forth on lines 50 times, just trying to get the right, right sentiment across. So and we worked really hard on it.
Oh, for sure. So thinking about that as well too, I mean, was there any songs that didn't like fit the album that might show up in the future, or were like all these songs the ones that you were focusing on?
Yeah, actually, we have a bunch of like extra stuff that we'll be able to release along the way, and it wasn't stuff that I thought wasn't as strong. It wasn't songs that I didn't think were as strong, but we just felt like maybe they weren't right for the album. And just for the vibe of the album in general, there's a few different styles of songs, I would say. So, we'll probably just put those out in a different format along the way.
And, that actually makes me so happy to hear that too, that you guys do focus on that when it comes into the actual album, rather than just like releasing all the material that you have and putting it as a collection known as an album. I mean, the fact that you do focus on it and making sure that the right songs are together to be able to release it together, and knowing songs that might work out better as like an EP or the next album or singles or whatever the case is going to be in the future, just knowing what's going to fit and what's not, rather than just releasing everything.
Exactly. I mean, you gotta pay attention, like, really close.
Oh, for sure. So, thinking about that as well too, I mean, obviously with all the stuff that you got going on right now, and, the world right now with like canceling shows and everything, I mean, obviously with the promotion of the album, is there anything that's still on the table that's going to be coming up for, say, like the end of the year or 2022?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ken. Yes, Ken.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't know where you're at.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, obviously with everything that's going on right now with you in particular and the state of the world right now, is there anything that's still on the table right now as far as like at the end of the year or 2022 that's still happening?
Yeah, man, we have like a bunch of tours that are happening in 2022, are just like at the very, very, very moment. We're taking stuff and we're thinking, okay, well, our March shows in Canada, can we do that? Like, do we have to move that to May? And it's just kind of all a little bit fucky right now, really. So yeah, but we have a whole year planned. So hope we can do it. And I mean, the Midwest and Minneapolis is on that list too. So
oh, fantastic! Yeah, I'm glad to hear about that too. I mean, Minnesota hasn't been getting the most shows this year. I've been seeing that we've been getting skipped over a lot when it comes to a lot of tours. So knowing that's on the cards, that's great.
There. It's hard to get there, man. I mean, I know how it is in because I'm from Winnipeg originally, so like I know that when I used to go to shows when I was growing up, the closest city that I could go to tour in bands was Minneapolis. So I drive 8 hours to Minneapolis when I was like 16, 17, 18.
Oh yeah, and I always know like Minneapolis is that stop. Like if a band's going up to Canada and they're playing up in Winnipeg, usually Minnesota is like that good stop from like Chicago or Milwaukee.
For real. Definitely, it's that good halfway there.
Oh, definitely. Oh, well, awesome. I'm so glad to hear that's in the cards, and I hope everything goes in the right direction to make that happen. Plus, all the other touring that'll be going along with it too, because this is an album that deserves that live promotion. All the great reception that I've seen so far with singles going on. I mean, I'm just so happy to see everything that's going along with it, and I'm so happy to see that you guys are coming in strong with 2022, and I can't wait to see what's coming up next.
I hope so too, man. I hope that we get out of this one and we're able to like really power through 2022. We just want to play these songs live, really, right now. So.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I really hope that that happens too. But, until then, I'm so fortunate to be able to check out this album and help promote it and being able to talk to you again. I mean, 2 albums in a row and just seeing the progression from the last album to here. I mean, it's so cool to see what's been going on musically. And I just know that's just going to keep going forward as well.
And Josh, I really appreciate you too, man. Are you quite the drummer or what? Do you talk to drummers usually?
I usually talk to anybody that's up to talk as well too. I mean, if I talk to a drummer, I like to talk drums and stuff too. But otherwise, I just like talking to everybody. It's just like everyone in the band is. It's just like it doesn't matter who it is as long as there can be like a great conversation to be had. Regarding music or whatever else happens. It's a great way to go about it.
Totally, man. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, I appreciate you as well, and thank you again for taking the time to do this. I hope you can recover the best that you can, and everything just keep going strong for 2022.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You as well. Bye bye.